Hi guys! The iconic universe of Final Fantasy is coming as a set to Magic this summer, June 13th, and we are here for it. Wizards has told us that there will be over 100 legendary creatures across the entire release, and the Commander Precon's main legendaries have already been revealed. We are excited for all of them, but there's one that already caught our eye. The commander for the Scions and Spellcraft team precon, Y'Shtollen Knight's Blessed. She is a 2/4 legendary cat warlock with Vigilance and, at the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Y'Shtollen deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. We are excited for these cards, first since she's on Esper colors, which are great for these effects. She offers the possibility to draw up to 4 cards in a cycle. Also, her second ability synergizes with a lot of good cards and offers us damage and life gain at the same time. There's actually a lot of strong 3+ CMC spells that are free or have alternate casting costs that are pretty good and work well with her. This seems to be a great Esper control deck, and it reminds us of Talion the Kindly Lord. Even though our commander works in reversed, Talion punished players for casting spells, while Y'Shtollen rewards you for casting them yourself. One key important part of her text is that normally cards like this simply cause our opponents to lose life. In this case, she deals damage to each opponent with her ability, so cards that trigger whenever damage is dealt will go great in this deck. Some examples are cards that provide draw like A Fitting Eye, Curiosity, and Tandem Lookout. All cards with the effect: whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Having either of these attached to her boosts her second ability, since when you cast a single 3-mana spell, will draw you 3 cards. Also, flavor points that she is a cat with a Curiosity synergy. Zero-cost cards like Snuff Out, Deadly Relic, or Fierce Guardianship are simply powerful here, since you don't even pay for them and benefit from her second ability. And since this is the case, Bolas Citadel will automatically be an auto-include as the value seems insane. Y'Shtollen says that you need to cast non-creature spells with mana 3 or greater. She doesn't say that you need to pay for mana cost of those cards. In the spirit, another great cards with her are Helm of the Ghastlord, an enchantment aura with Enchant Creature. As long as enchanted creature is blue, it gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. As long as enchanted creature is black, it gets +1/+1 and has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card. This is a great addition as well, as now our commander not only gives us draw, but also discards our opponent's cards. Sigil of Sleep. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to a player, return target creature that player controls to its owner's hand. Although not a non-creature spell that costs 3 or more mana, will just keep you controlling the board. Since she can deal damage to each opponent on the board, you can also go for a more darker route and give her infect with cards like Firesish, a 2-mana enchantment aura that gives the enchanted creature effect. If you give this to Y'Shtollen, her damage ability will be so powerful that you will end up being the main target on the table. Her drain ability also goes great with a card like Bloodchief Ascension, a 1-cost black mana enchantment with at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you may put a quest counter on this enchantment. Damage causes loss of life. Whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if this enchantment has 3 or more quest counters on it, you may have that player lose 2 life. If you do, gain 2 life. And if we are including Bloodchief Ascension, we can also include Mindcrank to finish the game. Ability doublers like Delny's Retries Lookout and Roaming Throne also go great with her. With her ability triggering an additional time, her second ability could deal much more damage and gain you a considerable amount of life. These not only double the draw, but if you cast a single non-creature, you already get the end step draw since you are going to drain twice. Lastly, we would also like to mention her first ability triggers at the beginning of each end step. So, if an opponent attacked any player, she will also draw you cards. Assuming a player lost 4 or more life this turn, also important to note, it's any player, us included, so you can have some pain lands to help her trigger the ability if our opponents decide they no longer want to attack us or any other player on the table to avoid giving us value. Painlands or cards like Tarnished Citadel, where you can tap to add 1 mana of any color, and this land deals 3 damage to you, is also great to activate her ability and help with our 3 mana color identity. All in all, she seems like a busted high power commander with insane value. Although we don't know if it is enough for competitive play, since at her worst she can end up being a 4 mana cost commander that can end up doing nothing, and she will probably be targeted for removal as soon as she enters the board. Also, you will have to run more non-efficient cards to consistently trigger her effects. The big advantage is that every single one of those is helping you draw more cards, which are almost always counter spells, removal, that trigger the commander effects. We hope you enjoyed our includes, and we would like to know your ideas and what cards would you add to her build. See you soon!